Okay, this is a test run on this. Let's see if we can do this. I'm holding the camera with one hand and I'm trying to watch what I'm doing with the other. So anyway, we're going to start off with a ball shape. Now, no animals have a true ball-shaped head, but if we start with a ball shape, it gets us in a ballpark. And if I was thinking of doing a big cat's skull is actually, in my mind's eye, I would see a big cat skull. Let's say like a tiger or lion. And the skull is shaped something like this. Okay. The zygomatic arch. So in my mind's eye, I would be seeing something like this in terms of my knowledge of anatomy. Okay. Now, and then we'd have the jaw coming through. We'd be seeing a form similar to this. But in drawing, if you try starting off thinking like that, it won't always work out for you. So it's easier to start off with a simplified shape. I'm going to erase that skull. So in my mind's eye, I'm thinking of the anatomy, but as I start the form, it'll be roughly a ball shape. That at least gets me a marker on the paper of where I'm starting. It's a starting point, okay? Now I'm going to come down that ball shape. I'm going to divide that shape a little bit, and I'm going to place a line sort of in perspective where these eyes might line up, okay? Now we're not done with this, it's just the beginning, so I would probably put some markers on that to help me find not only the beginning of the eye, where it hangs on that line, but also the beginning of the bridge of the nose. Okay, I'm just starting off something simple like this. Okay, and then coming down, placing the nose out here. Now, as I begin to construct the form, I see that that sense of direction becomes more developed as I do the form. See, so you want to start off simple first. With the form, that will help you find the rest of the animal as it becomes a more complex drawing. So, I'm just going to block in some shapes here for the form, coming down in perspective for the division of the muzzle. Okay, it's going to be a big cat, lion. So we've got the large nose pad. Okay, begin to see that emerge. Okay. And you get that zygomatic arch of the skull we saw earlier. So we know that's coming down where it meets this muzzle. This muzzle starts to come out. I'm going to place that muzzle on the lion here, wrapping around a form. Now we could say, well, if we drew a form out here like a wedge, we would find the front plane of that lion's mouth. Okay, so now I'm holding the camera with my other hand, so this is a little bit difficult, and it's half in my way of the drawing, so I'm going to have to move around a little bit. Now I find my way around that form for that head. See, as I wrap rubber bands or wrap around that contour of that muzzle and fill it out. So we might start off with a form that seems a little stiff, like a box or a square or a circle, but as we develop the drawing, we see it becomes very organic, and it has a lot of moving parts to it here. Okay, I'm doing this freehand. I don't have a photo reference nearby at all. This is just all freehand. I have nothing on my art bench around me at all, but you can get the idea. Now as I come around this jaw, I make my way to the other side. So you have to think dimensionally, multi-dimensionally about what you're doing. So as I'm drawing this guy, his dimensions begin to fill out from his temple. Okay, starting to fill in that head now. and we get around that wider point of the zygomatic arch, and we find that zygomatic arch on the other side. So we might have started off with a ball, but we end up with something very different as this drawing develops. Okay. And I'm doing a little bit of the corner of the mouth here, filling that out. Alright. People are fascinated by these big cats. I think touches the predator in all people. And what I'm going to do now is come in a little bit, bring my camera in for the eyes. It's a very dramatic part of the animal. So draw the eyelid like an eyelid. Don't make it flat. And these animals, all animals, have a lot of expression, although it takes some time to notice the nuances of each animal's unique expression. I'm going to start chiseling this out a little bit. And coming in on the eye now, you know that lions have a nice thick, excuse my reach and my adjustment, a nice thick eyelid. As I come through here and make my pass, I call it my first, second, and third pass. The first pass was the circle and the crude forms. The second pass was a little bit of the more developed forms, and the third pass is the anatomy, and I consider this part of that pass of developing. Really give that guy a little bit of reality now in the eye. Don't forget the reflective light in some eyelashes. The reflective light is very important. It gives the animal vibrancy. There's the tear duct. Okay, we come back for that nice eyelid, and I've got to pull back just to make sure I'm getting both eyes about the same size. Okay. And these animals have round pupils, not like a house cat. A house cat has slanted vertical pupils, and the big cats have round pupils. So we make sure that even though these are dilated, that means the pupil is open, we make sure that they're round, and we give them some reflective light in there. Okay. Alright, now as I come back, I'm going to finish up some of this part of the eye and the eyebrow. Okay, I adjust my pencil, holding it like this, which is the better way to do it. It gives you more sensitivity when you're working that pencil. Now the forehead is not going to be flat. It's actually going to come up